What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. The last 5-6 hours have been really up and down regarding stimulus talks. Some places we're seeing good news, some places we're seeing bad news. What we know is roughly around 5 o'clock today, p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Nancy Pelosi will hold a press conference. It's supposed to be an urgent press conference. And what people are saying is this could be urgent because we are coming to that deadline of a potential government shutdown. Now, according to House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, he told CNN that votes could happen tonight on whether or not we see a continuing resolution to keep the government funded for a few more days. Well, Nancy Pelosi is also expected to give a better update on where current negotiations stand as well. So this is good news because we haven't heard much from Mitch McConnell. We haven't really heard anything from Nancy Pelosi. We're hearing from all these representatives and senators who are, being briefed on the conversations in some way, but they're not actually in the room. So it's going to be good to actually hear what Nancy Pelosi has to say. Some reports are indicating that our lawmakers were being told to prepare for a vote on Saturday for the House and on Sunday for the Senate. So let's dive into that because that is extremely important. And right now, many representatives and senators are really up in the air. They have no clue what is going on. Now, as to what they're going to be voting on, right now, nobody knows. This is the issue. This is a huge issue. Our lawmakers have told us, the public, they told us that we would be able to see this bill, this roughly $748 billion stimulus package or COVID relief package, we'd see this on Monday. Well, Monday came and went. We never saw a stimulus package. Then they told us the exact same thing on Tuesday. I even told you guys this, that it's coming out today. And everyone's like, they're going to say it's coming out today, and then you're going to come back tomorrow and be like, it's coming out tomorrow. Well, guess what? On Tuesday, it didn't happen. So I came back on Wednesday, said, they told us today, it's coming out today. It's coming out on Wednesday. Well, you guys said the exact same thing. Don't believe them. They keep lying. And I said, it's coming out today. And guess what happened? It didn't come out. It didn't come out on Wednesday. They told us the same thing yesterday on Thursday. The bill's coming out today. We're going to see it at the end of the day today. You guys said the exact same thing. Don't believe them. They're going to lie. Guess what happened? They lied again. We didn't see the bill yesterday. Well, they're saying we should see the bill today. We should see the bill on Friday. Should we believe them? I don't know. I'm saying no. We shouldn't believe them now. I think I'm on your side. They're lying way too much. So right now, what they're saying is they are almost done. Okay, these are the reports. They are almost done, and they expect to vote on this by this weekend. We'll vote on what, right? This is what we're wondering. But according to multiple reports, many representatives are saying they have not even seen or heard what will be included in this bill. So it makes them a little bit worried and cautious as to whether they should support this or not. Now, they're being asked to get ready for a vote this weekend. Well, when they can't tell you if they support it or not simply because they have not seen the text of this bill. Yes, $300 per week for unemployment benefits sounds great. Yes, we support this. Everybody loves it. But if the text comes out and says, but if you get unemployment benefits, you cannot receive a stimulus check. Or if you receive unemployment benefits, you cannot receive rental assistance or food assistance. This is why the language is so important at this point. And this is why many people are saying they will not support a bill when Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell come out and say, we're going to vote in 8 hours. Look it over. There's no time for negotiations. There's no time for modifications. There's nothing. It's either you support it or you don't. That's it, and then we're going to go home. So that's kind of what it's looking like. That our leaders are saying, you either support this or you don't. You get on board or you don't. Now, that's not good news. So just to give you a recap, some lawmakers want to attempt to keep the government funded for just a few days. And some people are saying, many senators are saying, they will not let this happen. And by shutting down the government, even for just a day or two, it will put pressure on our leaders. It will put pressure on Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. Josh Hawley said earlier today Now, he was the one that was proposing that new bill for a $1,200 stimulus check. He brought it to the floor for an up-down vote, and Senator Ron Johnson blatantly blocked this bill. So it will not go to a vote. Now, what Josh Hawley said earlier today, and I quote, he says, "I'm not going to allow a CR, a continuing resolution, to go through until I know what's actually in the package." He then went on to say, "We've been in the dark for days on end. We have absolutely no idea what's actually in this package, so I'm not willing to allow a spending bill to go through until I know what's actually in the package. Direct assistance has to be in there." And then he finished with, "It's beginning to reach the point of absurdity. It's time for leadership to put on the table what they've got. It's time for them to brief members on what they've got. Here we are up against a deadline with a totally self-inflicted wound." And then he states, "I can't think of anything nice to say, so I'll stop there." Now, most people wouldn't be so nice. Most people would come down on our leadership. Right now, what he's saying is the members of Congress have not even been briefed on what's in this proposal. And then you got other people. For example, John Thune, he came out and said that there's no progress. We're in the exact same place. Well, Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell are planning a vote on a bill that nobody has even seen. This is crazy. One representative said, "This is insanity. When have we ever been asked to vote on something without seeing what we are voting on? This has never been done." This has many people right now worried that some of the most important provisions are going to be excluded. Why in the world would our leaders not brief the members? Why? This has never happened before, so why are they doing this? So, for instance, here are some of the worries that lawmakers have at this point, and then we will go into what is actually in this proposal, or supposed to be in this proposal, that we have not seen. We didn't get to see it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and chances are we will not see it today either. So, first, here's what we got. Will a second stimulus check of $600, will that only be for the extremely low income earners? We've heard reports on this. We've heard rumors that it could potentially be for only people that make less than $50,000. Okay. Will people with ITIN members in their family receive any stimulus checks for their family, excluding the ITIN member? That's currently on the table. That's one of the discussions that was up for debate. Will adult dependents be given a stimulus check? Right now, it is expected that yes, they will be. But it's also one of those things that was part of the negotiation process. Will stimulus checks also go to the unemployed? We've heard this from multiple members of the GOP. They've said, well, people on unemployment should not be able to double dip and get stimulus checks and the unemployment benefits. That's just not fair. But at the same time, the people on unemployment didn't necessarily choose to be on unemployment. They're on unemployment because they can't find a job. So how is that not fair? In regards to rental assistance, this is another hotly contested issue as well. Will we still get a 1-month eviction moratorium in addition to that $25 billion rental assistance fund? Right now, that's what's on the table. Republicans say, if we give you rental assistance, we don't need to give you a 1-month eviction moratorium. That's not needed. Now, what this is causing some states to do is quickly come out and try to put together an eviction moratorium extension. So instead of a federal eviction moratorium, many states are going to do their own to prevent people from being evicted. So right now, that's what's on the table. Also, will people that are getting rental assistance, will they also be able to qualify for other things? And how would you qualify for rental assistance? Who would qualify? What will be the income limits? What will be the threshold? What will be the parameters that you have to meet in order to qualify? We don't know. And how will this be distributed through the states? Some states have more people than others. Some states have a bigger issue on people that are back on their rent than other states. How will this money be divvied up? We don't know. And then we have the unemployment crisis. This is a big one. Will unemployment run for the full 16 weeks, or will it stop at week 12, possibly week 13? We don't know. Reports are it's going to go until the end of March, not the end of April. That's going to be about 3 to 4 weeks less, which means that these people on unemployment are going to earn about $900 to $1,200 less in their unemployment boost. Also, will people on unemployment get a stimulus check? We've mentioned this, but this is, again, it's a hotly contested issue. Many people are wondering what's going on there and how would we even do this? And then, will people on unemployment be able to qualify for other assistance programs as well? For example, food assistance and rental assistance. Well, there is talks, now I hope these are wrong, but there are talks right now that if people are getting unemployment and a $300 per week unemployment boost, they should be excluded from getting food assistance and rental assistance. Those programs should be for people that are currently working and do not make enough money to provide for their families. That's what's being said. So we'll see. What I can tell you right now is that the biggest hurdle that Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell are facing, and this is a new hurdle that they have not faced over the last 7-8 months, is what are they going to do with the 5 Federal Reserve lending programs? Now, what's currently being discussed is Republicans want to close down these 5 Federal Reserve lending programs, and they want to make sure that the Biden administration and Janet Yellen cannot open these back up as soon as next year. So, although these programs were hardly used when they did exist, Nancy Pelosi says that by closing them down, they hamstring the Biden administration. But Pat Toomey, a Republican, he has a bill ready to go to not only shut these programs down, but also prevent the next administration from opening them back up again without the approval of Congress. That's all they're saying is, if you want this money, if you want these programs to open up again, you have to have the prior approval of Congress. This is the biggest hurdle that our leaders are currently facing. Now, according to John Thune, he's the second leading Republican in the Senate. He says the stimulus talks are kind of the same place, no progress. That's not good, being that our leaders have been negotiating for days and there's no progress at this point. That's not good. So even though our leaders have been working more and more on these negotiations, if this is true, it is looking like that everything that is great in this stimulus package might not actually be there. We might not get it simply because this package has to pass as a whole. We're not going to piecemeal this thing. It's not going to be standalone bills. This $748 billion stimulus package has to pass as a whole in order for the American people to get stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, rental assistance, food assistance, education funding, and so much more. But let's go back and let's quickly go over what is supposed to be in this stimulus package. So right now, here's what we know. We have the PPP funding at $325 billion. We have stimulus checks at $150 billion. That's $600 per filer. Unemployment benefits, $180 billion. That's $300 per week. It's most likely going to be about 13 weeks. $82 billion for education funding. $45 billion for transportation funding. However, they do want to pull out about $17 billion for airlines. And there's $16 billion for vaccine distribution, $25 billion for rental assistance. However, that's the hotly contested item. They want to get rid of the eviction moratorium. Food assistance, $13 billion. They'd like to increase the SNAP benefit past 15% boost. That's what it currently is. We'll see what happens there. There's $13 billion for farm assistance. Mental health has $5 billion. Healthcare relief, $35 billion. Childcare, $10 billion. Lenders Act, $10 billion. Broadband, $10 billion. United States Postal Service, $10 billion. SOS Act. This is something that probably will not be included. It's $17 billion, but this would provide live venues with the relief that they need. This was something that was brought forth by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. And again, Republicans do not support this. There's FEMA funding for about $90 billion. Republicans do not support this. Democrats say it is needed. Then we have the federal lending programs. I just wrote that this is open. We don't have an amount here simply because Republicans would like this to be canceled and for the next administration to have the prior approval of Congress before they open this back up. But Nancy Pelosi and Democrats say this gives Joe Biden and Janet Yellen a little bit of options in case we do dip into our double dip recession, which is most likely going to happen. So that's what we know is on the table right now. But even though this is what's on the table, nobody knows how close the leaders actually are. However, Mitch McConnell did come out today and say this. He says he is even more optimistic now than I was last night that a bipartisan, bicameral framework for a major rescue package is very close at hand. So hopefully, that means something good will come out of Nancy Pelosi's press conference later on this afternoon. But as I know more, I promise I'll share more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. Feel free to share this video with your friends, family, and colleagues over on Facebook as well, so they too can stay updated. And I'll see you guys on the next one.